In this video, I'm going to be actually talking about how you can optimize your CV. So down the line, you will get more job interviews. If you are getting rejected very fast, probably like in 30 minutes, 2 hours, or within a day, most probably you are getting rejected, not from HRs, but you are getting rejected from the ATS, which is application tracking system. So basically what it does is actually it detects the keywords and then the relevant experience and then the keywords from the job description and actually make a decision whether you are right fit for this role or not. So in this video, as I said, I'm going to actually show you how you can optimize the CV that you have. So down the line, you will get more job interviews and potentially more job opportunities or job offers. So if you have the CV like this, most probably that's the reason you are getting rejected so fast. On a weekly basis, I talk to 20 to 30 people. The first thing I'm gonna ask in the call or when we actually initiate the conversation, I'm gonna ask to have a look at their CV. And then oftentimes I look at CV like this, which is most probably it's built on Canva, and it looks so sexy, it doesn't get you to get a job. It looks so sexy. I mean, like there might be, here's the color, like the picture, and then the beautiful, I don't know, typography, like the fonts you guys might use, and like the about section, probably half essay, which no one cares about. So I'm gonna actually dive into the process, actually what you need to write in the CV. But before that, I want to actually touch on the structure of the CV. So as I said, the image, which you don't have to actually put on your CV, and most probably, first of all, it's a trigger for the ATS, and then the file size gets bigger, and you have to actually minimize this file size as small as possible. So you have the profile picture, you have the about section, which is like half essay long, and then probably your CV might look like 2 columns, as you can see, like the first column right there, and then the second column. So first column might be like you might put your soft skills, hard skills, additional information about yourself. And then in the second column, basically it's specifically for putting your experience. So this type of CVs actually doesn't work because the problem with this type of CVs is actually it's not ATS friendly. I mean, the columns like this, like 2 columns, it's too confusing for the system called ATS. It's really hard to detect the keywords. For example, sometimes you put the soft skill, right, like that, and then the ATS might detect the process like this. So that means it doesn't detect the 2 column. Basically, like all in all, it's not good CV, if that makes sense, the structure wise. And then the second thing I want to actually touch on specifically work experience section. By far the work experience section and then the bullet points that you have on your CV, by far the most important part of your CV. So if you don't know how to write content that actually attracts the HR, so first of all, like pass through the ATS and it attracts the HR to actually invite you for the job interviews, I mean, basically you're screwed, because the bullet points that you have actually dictates whether you're gonna get the job interview or not. So when it comes to writing the bullet points, you have to actually, most probably you put information like you are responsible in your previous role or in your current role, or like very long bullet points which actually doesn't make sense, and general bullet points basically. So you have that CV and then you apply to 100 X job positions, more than 100 maybe 200, who knows. Basically, and you have one CV like this and you apply to like any job positions you can see on the job market, specifically LinkedIn. And then the second experience, the same, you make the same mistake, you put the informations kind of about yourself, but the thing, like not about yourself. You put informations on your CV that you were responsible for. But in hindsight, the thing is that helps you to get a job is basically what are the things you got, what are the achievements you have actually in your professional life. So as I said, your CV have to answer the question, which is why we should hire you. Why we should hire you. If you cannot actually set the context immediately right off the bat, when the HR pulls up your CV, you're gonna get another rejection. Like as I said, on average, the HRs, they spend 6 seconds to make decision whether they're gonna invite you for the job interview or you're gonna get another rejection. And then with this type of CV, you're lucky enough if you actually get through the ATS. And then second thing is, even though you get through the ATS system, you're gonna fail at the HR because of this type of CV structure. Because as I said, you have to answer the question, you have to address the tone immediately within 6 seconds. Otherwise, as I said, you're gonna get another rejection. And the worst thing is, people have like people who watch me, like the basically international students, like international graduates here in Europe, most probably they don't have that much experience. Most probably they are right out of school. And then having more than one-page CV, like basically one-page CV, it doesn't make sense at all. Because first of all, you don't have relevant information to put more than one page. So that means like oftentimes people, they have actually 2-3 pages long CVs. I mean, all of the like the high school degrees or I don't know, some volunteering, it doesn't make sense at all. You don't need, I mean, you have to actually ask yourself when you're actually writing some content on your CV, does this information actually help me to get a job? If the answer is no, you have to actually remove it. And then do not try to make one CV for many job positions. It doesn't work. We are living in 2025, and then AI is so good at detecting what you have on your CV. And if you have like even fraction irrelevant information, basically you're gonna get rejected, or they're gonna consider you are not relevant or you are not fit for the specific role you apply to. So that means you should have one CV, one page, and specifically for one job position. You cannot use one CV, or you cannot send one CV to everywhere. If you want to get one tip from this video, so that's the tip for you. So you cannot apply to many job positions with one CV. It doesn't work. You're gonna waste time, months, years, suffering, emotional damage that you might get PTSD from getting rejections. It doesn't work at all. So remove the page 2. If you don't have more than 5 years experience, it doesn't make sense having more than one page CV. So on top of that, this type of structure, like this type of CVs, basically it's really hard to iterate, or it's really hard to make copy and make the efficiency or being productive when it comes to the tailoring the CV over and over and over again when you're applying to some specific jobs. So that means the CV that you have, basically this structure, it's gonna be a problem for you to tailor each and every time when you apply to specific job, because it's too much sexy, and we don't need CV that looks sexy. We need CV that gets job interviews. So recap, you have to remove the image, and then the summary, you can actually give the summary, but when you are actually talking about yourself, you have to actually give your value proposition right off the bat. I mean, why we should hire you. This is the question you have to actually address each and every time when you are showing your CV to the HR. So, for example, they don't care about like the bunch of like the half essay long summary section, but with 3 or 4, maximum 4. Like I usually do 3 sentence value proposition that addresses why we should hire you question. So that's the thing. And I want to actually touch on the CV that actually works. So that's the CV that we've been actually implementing over the past 15 months, and most probably we got over 500 or 600 job interviews over the past 15 months in Europe. So, and this CV is built in Google Doc, and nothing fancy, nothing related with the Canva or professional designing stuff. Basically, that's the CV that gets right now 3-4 job interviews on a weekly basis for my clients. And I'm actually showing what's been working, and I'm not sure what people think about it, but that's the CV that's been working and proven for me and for my clients. So right after that, the name. If you have long name, I would actually recommend you to shorten it or make it a little shorter. For example, if it's very long, you can say, for example, my name is not like the Aziz Bek is my like the shortened name, and I don't want to actually make the HR's life harder when it comes to like pronunciating or when they're calling you. I mean, it's really hard for them actually to call you out. So basically, for example, you can even say Aziz like B, as simple as that. So if you have long name, just cut it and make it kind of common. And so the second thing is location. For example, if the job position is in Warsaw or the job position in Berlin, you have to actually put the location at the company or at the department or at the job position which is located. So this is the first thing. And then the phone number and the email, and then always with the LinkedIn. So basically, when you're actually creating the CV on Google, there is a like I don't know what's called, like the hover over, or you can actually insert the URL behind some specific word. For example, LinkedIn, and then you can actually attach your LinkedIn URL. So the most important thing is here is the experience section. So the reason we keep the CV tight and like we actually prefer the Google Doc, just because it's easy to tailor each and every time when you apply for some specific job, because it's simple and it's just words, and then it's one column, and it's easy to ATS to detect the keywords or to judge the keywords based off of the job description. So your work experience section, for example, you might have like a bunch of experience, like different jobs or different roles, and I want you to only focus on the job roles that you have, that you worked for some specific job position. And I don't want you to put McDonald's job like when you were in high school. So you have to put the work experience to the job positions which are relevant when you are applying for jobs. So second thing is the bullet points, and I want you to put 3 bullet points for each and every job positions. So for example, I'm going to give you example how you're going to actually go over the process. The first thing is like the actionable verbs might be, for example, increased, developed, implemented, like the strong adjectives, managed, scaled, things like this, not kind of like assisted, helped, or being the part of the team. Like it doesn't work, because like the companies, they want to hire decision makers. They want to hire who can actually take initiatives. They want to hire someone who can actually make decisions and solve problems. That's the main caveat. So that means like the bullet points itself is the value proposition or your unique selling point. And then you have to actually take all the bullet points from the job description. You cannot make up something. For example, the company is asking for apple, you gotta give the apple, not the orange. That's the thing. increased annual recurring revenue by 20% using email marketing. So if that's the case, if you are working in sales or marketing, you are well aware of that. So increasing 20% annual recurring revenue, which is a lot. So right off the bat, that's the value proposition. Or if the company is asking for sales related skills, or like the churn related or something related marketing, that's the bullet point you should have. So increased annual recurring revenue by 20%. That's the quantifiable achievements right there. And then increased is the strong action verb, and how, using email marketing. So the job description is asking for email marketing experience, right? Instead of actually putting the email marketing or email marketing tools in the skills section, you can actually demonstrate how you can actually use the tools in the process, in the implementation process. So for example, email marketing tools might be HubSpot, email marketing tools might be Beehive, or email marketing tools might be Go High Level. It depends on the companies, what kind of software they use. So basically you have to take the job description aspired requirements, and you have to actually put it in the bullet points. Okay, let's move on. Success metrics, use numbers. As I said, success metrics is very important. When you're talking to something about your achievement, talk with numbers, and it's easy to understand and it's attractive enough, so you will get the job interview. And then the keywords from the job description. I can't stress enough how much this thing is important, because ATS system, basically it detects the keywords from the job description. Basically it matches or compares the keywords from your CV and then the keywords from the job description. And then you have to use the mirroring. On the job description there is a SQL or Excel or I don't know, any other tools. You have to mention the tools in the bullet points, basically mirroring. And then finally, make one line bullet points for each line. So that means I don't want to actually teach you how to use the Google Doc. Basically, if there is a setting, you can actually set up the page in a way it actually puts very less gap between the starting point of the page and then the end point of the page. You have to squeeze up one line bullet points which has action verbs, which has numbers, quantifiable achievements, and then the tools you used from the job description. And then the last thing is education. I want to actually touch on it. I want you to check the job description. If the company or if the job position asking for degree, I want you to capitalize on it. I want you to focus on the courses, I don't know, some other skills that you learned from your degree. For example, if you have like more than 5 years experience, I would say you can actually capitalize on your experience than your education. Of course, if you are a student or if you're a fresh graduate, basically you don't have nothing, or not nothing, but you don't have much thing to show off or to represent about yourself. So having well demonstrated education section is beneficial. So the last thing about the education section is basically I want you to remove the graduation year from your CV. For example, to be honest, like I don't get it, like still some companies they don't hire young professionals and some companies they don't hire old professionals. So in any cases having a graduation year, it doesn't work you well. So it's better to remove it, and then this actually helps you to receive a phone call just for the addressing this stuff, right? You shouldn't give any reason to say no to you before actually talking to you, if that makes sense. So that's why removing the graduation year from your CV, it's quite beneficial. And then the last thing is the skills section. In the skills section, I want you to focus on the hard skills than soft skills, because put the soft skills in the bullet points. If you have communication skill, just find a way that you can actually show that you have the communication skill. For example, conducted quarterly meetings with the stakeholders XYZ. So basically what it means is actually you conducted the meeting, so you have the communication skills. So basically you have to work around the way to put your communication skills in a way it doesn't feel like you have the communication skills, but you have the communication skills, if that makes sense. And then I want you to capitalize on the hard skills and then the tools that you know. So if you are in sales and marketing, it might be CRM, it might be email marketing, it might be paid ads, it might be, I don't know, designing, post creation, engagement, retention, stuff like that. If you are in finance, it might be SQL, it might be Excel, it might be like other tools. So it depends on what are the job positions you're looking for. On top of that, you have to put all the skills from the job description which is required. If you don't have the skills required from the job description, you have to actually learn it. Of course, you cannot learn overnight, but it takes time, and that means you have to actually be intentional when it comes to what are the job positions you are targeting to, and then list out the requirements or required skills, required tools to know, and then start to learn it. And then, as I always say, the career success is not overnight thing, and you always learn, you always update, or you always learn new skills, new tools, and then you actually catch the trends and then improve or implement the trends in your job role. So that's the video actually. I hope that helped you. That's the CV that we've been implementing, and on average we are getting, as I said, 3-4 job interviews weekly. Of course, using AI, a little bit of AI. And if you watch the previous videos, I actually showed how you can implement the AI to get the most out of it, to make the CVs like this in 30 seconds and apply for the jobs. And just keep it simple, because in this day and age, less is more. And then I want you to put only relevant information for specific job position and remove everything which is not relevant for the role. And that's pretty much it, as simple as that. And if you have CV like that, and I want you actually remove it, because it's actually holding you back, and I want you to use this CV. And I'm gonna actually attach the CV template that we've been using, exact one, so you can actually download it and you can actually have a look at it, and then you can actually make a copy, or do not steal it, but steal the information from the job description, not from the CV that I'm gonna give it to you, or you're gonna get from your friends. So that's pretty much it for today's video, and see you in the next one.